Hello, welcome to another Gundam Operation 2 video. That is the Gaza D. Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed with the suit, but only on the ground. In space, I think it's actually pretty good. Both of these matches I have here for you today are both space. One of them I did custom with some friends, and then the other one is the night it came out, I decided to dick around at 550 space and use the 450 suit, and it didn't go too well, but I didn't get last, so I'm gonna go ahead and post that one, or put that one in here too, because it's just random. Have another match and, show some more of it in space, but this first one was me the day after, and we're playing it. And I'll say the Gaza D, yeah, a little bit disappointing in regards to how it functions, how its stats are, compared to the Gaza C. I guess we'll go ahead and get into the stats first. We have the level 1 450. I have here 16,000 HP, 18 ballistic and beam resistance, 12 melee resistance, 30 range, and 15 melee strength. 130 speed, 200 boost speed, which is, that's pretty good. You only have 65 thruster gauge, which is, even though in the description it says that it has, it's supposed to be, a better Gaza C, that's why I call it the Gaza D, has the same thruster gauge as the level 2 Gaza C, which is retarded, especially with the weapons it has, and, I believe it doesn't have space compatibility either, which is weird. But yeah, you also have 9 close range slots, 13 mid range slots, and 10 long range slots. Yeah, these are some pretty weak resistances. 16,000 HP, which I believe is 500 more than the Gaza C level 2. The ballistic damage is, I believe for the Gaza C level 2, it's 12. So this one has 18. And yeah, the Gaza C has way more beam defense than this suit. I forgot exactly, but I just know because I have my Gaza C built up with a lot of beam defense. And this suit, when I buff it up for beam defense, it's significantly lower than the Gaza C's. It has 18 beam resistance. And then 12 melee resistance and 30 range and 50 melee resistance. It's pretty trashy. Not trashy, but pretty weak. Pretty easy to beat up on. And then, of course, it shares the same thruster gauge as the Gaza C. So not only is this suit not as strong as the Gaza C in certain areas, but it's pretty much the same in the regions they say in the description that it's better in. But that makes no fucking sense at all. And yeah, that's kind of stupid. Anyway, to the weapons now. We got primary weapons. We have the Gaza D Knuckle Buster, which is another disappointing aspect. 1,300 damage, 60% heat rate, got 400 range, and it's chargeable, but for some reason, it's not like the Gaza C's Knuckle Buster. It doesn't do a truckload of damage unless you're hitting a raid for like 4,000. But yeah, and since a lot of people run beam defense, usually around these costs, you're not gonna be doing as much damage. Like 3,000, 2,000, somewhere around like normal charge beams. They should have just made the Gaza C's beam rifle, but a tad bit less damage to balance out having other weapons. But they didn't do that, and they just went this weird route where it only shoots twice before it can overheat if you fire it. But you can charge it up and fire it after you do a charge shot, which is nice. That's something the Gaza C can't do. But yeah, the damage is significantly lower. But then you have the Gaza D Beam Saber, which is 2,200 damage. Pretty nice moveset for it. Pretty simple. The neutral swing has some reach to it, which is good. The downswing, you kind of lurch forward when you use it, so you can use that with your hover ability to get some extra leverage for your downswing. Secondary weapons, which You have the 4-tube missile pod, which is 250 damage, 8 rounds, and 300 range. These ones... Hold on, let me get to the other missile pods. You have the 8-tube missile launchers, which is 100 damage, 16 rounds, and then 400 range. Which is, it's weird because the 16 round one stuns, but the 8 round doesn't. But the 8 round does more damage, but it doesn't stun accumulate. If it does, it's very little. I'm pretty sure it is very little, but yeah, it's weird. Usually, if you have something that has like less ammo like that, usually that's the stunning weapon, you know. But nope, that's on the 16 round. And these are very hard to use on the ground, unless you're just throwing them at the enemy. You don't want to waste them, but you kind of have to if you want to get a stun off. Which, by the way, the Gaza C only has one instant stun, and it's only in in its transformation mode. It has no instant stun whatsoever in its mobile suit mode. It has to charge it up, or it has to stun accumulate with its missiles, and that fucks it over heavily on the ground. It is a no-go zone on the ground for the Gaza D. I think I would rather use this as a spacesuit. But yeah. And then, you got your mobile armor mode. You got the 4-tube missile launchers and the 16 tube. Oh my god, 16 tube, holy shit. No, you just have the 16 missiles and the 8 missiles, And then you have, your beam gun, which you can charge up, do around the same damage as your regular mobile suit beam gun. Your hyper knuckle. And then you have your leg mega particle cannons, which shoots from your feet. Which that one has 900 damage, 95% heat rate, and 450 range. That is your only instant stun on this entire suit. And it does its job really well, You can fire it twice after you wait for a little bit of a ready-up time. Shoot it to get a stun, fire off with something else, and then maybe pull it back out for another stun, which I don't think about doing this match, sadly. Oh, I forgot, then you have your beam guns, which is, it's not like the Gaza C's beam guns, your little shoulder beam guns, where it just spams it out. You only shoot like 4, and it does 300 damage, 30% heat rate, and then 275 range. They're good for like follow-up damage when you stun with the leg mega particle cannons. So, they're there, And then for skills, you got a dodge roll. You have melee. You got your melee combo controller. You can hit twice. And then you have balancers to go with that, which, thank God, that's something the Gaza C needed. And then you have a force injector level 2. You have some shoulder buffers, shoulder buffer 2, and back buffer 2. You can scope, you can zoom in and out with your scope, and then of course you can transform, you have flight control, level 2. And then you get the usual stuff in mobile armor mode, and hey, mission complete, top assist score, nice. And I believe we can see what we got placement wise. Perhaps, maybe, kinda sorta. I don't praise anybody, why? Hey, 4th place, 2 and 2. Did pretty good in assist damage though, so it was an alright match. And then this one's the one I just fucked around in at 550 with a 450 suit, so don't expect too much great gameplay here. This one was for funsies. It was in quick match, and I was tired as fuck. But yeah. And then mobile armor mode, you have your typical blast stabilizer, shock dampeners, you can ram people. And yeah, that's about it for the Gaza D, and I'll have to say, this thing is way better in space than on the ground, mostly because a lot of its stronger weapons is usable in flight mode, and unfortunately it has really low boost gauge on ground, so you can't really utilize a combo too well on the ground unless you want to boost that your thruster gauge up. So that's why in space it's way better in space because they last, your thruster gauge lasts longer in space for transforming suits. So you can just keep at somebody with it, just whittle them down, or just chunk their health away. Like I'm trying to do here, trying to shoot them, stun them. Hey, I got stun off, and you can just chase after people. And that makes it really good for space. And if you're teaming up with somebody, you can spam missiles in their direction while they're trying to shoot them. All that good shit, you know. Get a stun off, come in for melee. It just works way better in space. Way better. That charge shot did 3,000 damage. Yeah, on the ground, I would almost not recommend this suit, honestly. That hurts me to say because I like the Gaza C, or the Gaza series. I do have a Gunpla of the Gaza C that I'm looking at right now that I always mention every time I talk about the Gaza C. I should get one of the Gaza D, but yeah, it sucks because the Gaza D, I would almost not recommend it because it's almost worthless on the ground. Even at 450, there's just a lot more general suits that are just way better. I would honestly even pick the Gaza C over the Gaza D on the ground. That's how sad it can be. If I want something that can whittle health away, I would pick something like a G-Line standard armor, or just any of the numerous suits at 450, because 450 is a great cost. It really is for a bunch of different classes. And then of course, if I just want to go for big fuck you damage, there's the Gaza C. Just charge it up, look at somebody, melt their health, and then go on about my day. Maybe get some shoulder hits in, you know, hit and run tactics with the Gaza C. And it's kind of hard to do with the Gaza D. You can probably get in a stun with your leg mega particle cannons, and then follow up with something else, and then you have to think about, okay, what do I do now? What's next on the list? Because some of those weapons have some shorter range. Well, I say shorter range, but they're all like 400, 300 range. Oh, actually, the beam guns are 275 range, so have to be a little bit close for those. But yeah, the mega particle cannons 450 range, and your missiles can go 400 range. So looks like they want you to stun with the leg cannons and then go in with the battering them with the missiles. But yeah, it is just it needs to get buffed, honestly. Like, straight up, having played this, it just needs to get buffed just strictly for ground alone. In space, it's doable. It's certainly doable in space. You know, I've seen friends play in space. You can see me here playing in space, doing alright with it, I say, while I'm blowing up from getting shot and killed. But yeah, it is very ugly on the ground trying to play that suit, the Gaza D. If they need to buff it, they should have just made the beam gun, the hyper knuckle, the same as the Gaza C's, a little bit less damage to balance out it having missiles and more weapons of transformation mode, but they didn't do that, which is weird because I believe the Toad Stritter has the Gazomes, I think that's how you pronounce it, the Gazomes Knuckle Buster. And it's a really good weapon. It makes me excited for the Gazome, which is, I believe that one's a Gaza series suit. Can't wait for the Gazome, because it's going to have that really good beam rifle and it can transform as well. But this suit seems like it's stuck in this balance between the Gaza C and the Gazome, where it can fire after its charge, unlike the Gaza C. And kind of like the Gazomes, where you can charge up that Knuckle Buster after every shot and fire it. But it doesn't do nearly as much damage as the Gaza C, and it's just not as good as the Gazomes Knuckle Buster. So it should get buffed. The missiles need to be a little bit stronger too, because Looking at this, 100 damage for 16 rounds, and then 250 damage for 8 missiles is pretty low at 450, 500. The missiles work fine, like for the Zusa, because Zusa has a lot of missiles. It's a support, and they do like 250. Actually, I think a little bit more than that. You can melt with the Zusa sometimes, just by firing straight on. I kind of wish the Gaza D had, instead of just having 2 separate missiles for whatever fucking reason. I get that they're located in different spots, but they're in the same area of the shoulders. They can just make it a barrage attack, you know? Have them all fire at the same time. Make it stun in some shots. What would that be? 16 plus 8, isn't that 24? Yeah, I know math, I think. Have that, like, stun after every few hits so you can kind of use it over and over again. Also, for some reason, you can't boost and use the missiles at the same time, which is a damn shame, because that would help it in setting up combos. You'd boost towards somebody with your spraying missiles at them, you can get a downswing off, do something else, you know. But no, you have to be you can move while using them, which is good, but you can't boost. You can't even fall while using them. You can't boost, you can't jump and use them. It's strange, and I don't like it. There's a lot of things about the suit I just don't like. I really wish they buff this like immediately. In my honest to God opinion, buff it immediately, because it's supposed to be stronger than the Gaza C. The description even mentions that's supposed to be stronger, but it's weaker in some areas, and it ties with the Gaza C and thruster gauge, which is just downright retarded. Don't know why. It's just silly. But, you know, in space, it works in space. I'll say that. It works in space. And you can actually get some really good combos off, range combos, with your mobile armor mode. And hey, that's the end of this match, and you'll get to see how awful I did. And you'll see Schwartzman Diaz actually carried us. Yeah, he deserves some praise, because he was a very good player looking at his stats there. Hey, 9th place. Oh, God, yeah. 2 and 3. But yeah, Schwartzman Diaz, one of the few times I've seen a Schwartzman Diaz that I actually liked. And I believe that number is below 5. The number of times I've seen a good Schwartzman Diaz players. Good Schwartzman Diaz player. Yeah, okay, there we go. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe if you want, I'd really appreciate it. And you know, type up in the comment section what you feel about the Gaza D. Do you like it? Do you hate it? I like this suit in space. On the ground, I absolutely hate it. I would recommend this suit to you if you love space battles. That's it. If you're gonna use this on the ground, don't even bother using your tokens. Save those motherfuckers up. This is not a suit you want to use on the ground. You can probably use whatever else you want and you'll do way better. The suit is just not viable for the ground at all. And I mean that wholeheartedly, as somebody who loves weird ass suits like the Gaza C or amphibious suits, even if they might not be the best suit to use on a lot of maps. The Gaza D just has to do a lot of work for little damage that other suits can get away with for free, pretty much, at the costs that the Gaza D is at. But in space, it can actually pull off its damage fairly well. And, yeah, I just hope they buff it, because this desperately needs a buff on the ground. Jesus. But, yeah, with that, I'll see you guys later. Bye.